Hi, Maddy and Femi, you okay?
Yes, thank you.
Good, thank you.
And where are you both? Where are you both in Nigeria?
Yes.
Yeah,
And how's it been? How's
just
that?
outside of Lagos.
Just outside Lagos, yeah. How is it at the moment for you guys?
Tough. We can't perform. The economy is getting worse, so it's very difficult for everybody now.
Yeah, it's the same over here. We can't do anything, but I know the economy is sort of going down and down. But yeah, it's just a bad time, isn't it? So, um,
Mhm.
but no, the album then, obviously, I've Legacy Plus. It's a great. It's just unique because obviously you got father and son, and you got for me, I found that it was you've got the past meeting coming to converging with into the future. You know, you got Femi's sort of spin on it, and then you got my day sort of bringing it up to the modern. Is that would that be correct in saying that?
Yes, for me, yes.
Yeah, the idea was we had two albums that were going to be released in 2020,
Yeah,
and my dad's idea that if we're releasing two separate albums, why don't we think of putting a project together? He doesn't think a parent and child has ever released a dual release album, or if a dual release album of this kind has ever been done by by a parent and child. So we thought about it, we loved it. We didn't quite work out the logistics between us. We left that to Partisan and team, and but the idea itself was wonderful. Then we spoke to Delphine, who did the cover art, and she thought she wanted to portray the image of what we were trying to, the message of the music and
yeah.
our message as people and what we represent. So we had a long chat with Delphine, which was wonderful. And my dad, we just wanted people to be inspired by the love that we share in music and how passionate we are about it and how important the messages are within it.
And obviously it's protest. There's obviously the protest song still viable today, you know, and obviously you sing a lot about what's going on. It's not just necessarily related to Nigeria, it could relate to anywhere in the world because obviously there's a lot of injustice that goes on. And in your songs you bring that out, you know, and you want people to listen, but obviously it's a message there as well. Um how how important is it then that you sort of stick to the protest song?
I, I really don't like those words because they make them sound so negative.
Okay.
I think they're topics we are very concerned about. Stop the hate. We're concerned to free your mind to think independently and not be brainwashed. So this is not protest. This is just saying our idea of how things should be to make a better world. I think the opposition always likes to bring all these terms, activists, protests, to show you are against them and you are trying to be difficult with what you are saying or you are bringing a logic that doesn't make sense. So those words sound like that to me. So I just think we're very passionate about poverty. The poverty level is disgusting. Climate change is important. And so these things touch us and hurt us. We see it on the news. We live it here. And we get to travel and we see other parts of the world and we see it's not as rosy as sometimes people make it out to be. So we sing out. So these things where we sing about things that we're passionate or concerned about.
I guess like you just said, it's to raise an awareness. It's to the injustices that go on.
Yes.
It's not. I mean,
Yes.
to use a word that I did protest, and I apologize for that. It's just
no, it's okay. I mean, everybody
you know
does. So just it's okay.
But it's just obviously it's one of them questions I have to ask. And I know that we got Billy Bragg over here, and he sings. You know, he's very much for that. But obviously, it's a different sort of genre than yourselves. Can I just say that? I mean, I know that my brother lived in Abuja for about 4 or 5 years. And he'd always joke to me and say that the roads in Abuja would always be very, very well maintained. But as soon as you left Abuja, the centre, the roads were atrocious. And I know that with your song, Made, different streets, you say you can go out and the roads are just, well, we can laugh, but it's also we could cry because, you know, the states, I mean, I'll let you speak about it.
It's one of the most basic and it's one of the oldest kind forms of infrastructure that you possibly work on. It's one of the things that is holding the biggest, most populated city back for over now like 6 decades. The roads are terrible. Just outside, it takes us about 10 minutes to drive a 1-minute road before we get to it. And you know, if you have a car that's slow, then you know, the under of the car is getting scratched, you have to keep going for repairs. So everyone who has any sense has to buy a Jeep, but Jeeps are expensive. And it's just a vicious cycle that just goes on. And the mental health of the average Nigerian that has to face that kind of unnecessary challenge every single day, just get to work and come back from school. It's horrible. And for someone that, because I lived in London for 7 years, I was coming twice every year. The contrast was so evident that you couldn't escape how obvious the difference is. And it just hit you every time. Like, why is it so? Why is it so? Why does it have to be this? And obviously, you go back to bad leadership, bad governance, corruption. It's the same things that have been spoken about since the 60s and 40s.
Yeah. And it's still endemic now. I mean, it's been going on for years and years and years, and like you say, since the 60s. And I mean, Femi, do you ever think it's ever going to change? I mean, I'm not just saying just for Nigeria. I'm talking about.
It will change. I think we have to understand the historical facts of the world. Change is inevitable, whether we like it or not. But for Africa, if we don't understand 1,000 years of slavery, colonization, bad African governments, if we think it's going to change in just 10, 20 years, we are kidding ourselves. So I know, but people like, we have to be grateful for people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, my father, Patrice Lumumba, and great people like this, and men and women we don't even know their names who have fought for the emancipation. Muhammad Ali, Bob Marley, and when we look at it globally, I mean, Europeans who have fought for a better life. And so we have to understand that it's going to be probably a continuous fight forever, because evil will always show its ugly head, and we always have to cut it off.
Sorry, my dad, we just had a power cut, so he's.
Right, okay, gosh, okay, I can see you. So
ourselves into freedom.
Sorry, Femi, you cut off for about 15 seconds. Then the power cut apparently. So.
Yes, they take the electricity here, and when the electricity goes, the internet goes.
Jeez.
So are you back there? So where did I cut off?
It was about 15 seconds ago into the chat. So yeah, sorry.
So I'm saying we have to appreciate this history of 1,000 years. We have to understand even Europeans have fought for freedom too. And when we understand these historical facts of colonization, slavery, and bad African governments, if we expect it to just end in my lifetime, then I think we are kidding ourselves. I think when we appreciate this history, then we understand where we are, and we understand what we have to do to emancipate ourselves from this evil. And probably it will always be a continuous fight in this world, because there will always be evil, and we always have to fight to make life better and easier for everybody. So I think it's going to be a continuous fight, and we just have to keep on striving.
And as my dad has, knowledge and understanding is the clearest way forward. But education in Nigeria keeps us uninformed. So I had no access to history in high school, and when I wanted to take it as a subject, it wasn't offered. Some friends that I know that studied history in university are learning Western history, which is ridiculous to me, because not knowing about pre-colonial and colonial Africa at least is having no knowledge of how everything has happened the way it has been till today. And going as far back as ancient Africa to know simplest things about our human development, how culture grows, and how we've migrated from here and there, how the particular ethnicities that are in Nigeria came to be in this particular region. Everything, we're totally in the dark. If you don't graduate and go out of your way to search for books, usually out of Lagos, you don't have information. Now there's the internet.
It's alarming. I mean, it is to hear that, and you know, I mean, and I know now you've got the police corruption that's been going on, you know, the riots and all that sort of stuff. We don't see much on the news. We did initially, but then obviously it's been, you don't see much. But I know obviously you guys are there, and you'll get to see and hear things. But I mean, how is the situation now? I mean, is it sort of calmed down a bit, or?
There are different problems right now. There are ethnic problems. There is the Fulani headmen killing people. There are ethnic problems. I think 2 days ago, the Western people and the Northern people are in a very big battle somewhere in the West, Ibadan, where they killed a lot of people and burnt a lot of property. There's a lot of kidnapping. Insecurity is at its highest peak. We still have the Boko Haram. Yeah. We still have the NSAS, the police brutality there was another protest, I think, on Saturday. About 40 people were arrested. I think they're on bail now. But I mean, you just don't know what next is going to happen. People are just completely fed up. Nothing works. Healthcare doesn't work. Education is a failure. Bad roads. Electricity, as you have seen, we keep getting cut off from the internet because the electricity keeps going. Some people don't even have electricity for weeks or months. It's not possible to live like this. And this story, as you have seen, has been the same story since the 70s. My father spoke about it all his life. I've been talking about it for over 3 decades. Now my son is talking about the same issues.
Yeah. And what were you going to say, Made? Were you going to say something?
Yeah, exactly what my dad said. Power cuts, roads, it goes into every single. There's no public sector in Nigeria that works. And I sat down and I tried to find one. I couldn't find a single one.
I mean, I know from my brother's experience, like say, you lived in Abuja for 4 or 5 years in the British Embassy or whatever it's called up there, and he would tell me stories, you know, and obviously I don't want to say them on here, but alarming stories, you know, and this is going back 10 years, 15 years, and he's still got people there that work there, and the stories are still the same, you know, and it's like you say, it's corruption at the highest level. I know, like your dad's song, you know, they can't fight corruption with corruption. It's endemic, and it's going to be there for years and years. And you guys, do you guys not fear, you know, being there, because obviously you're a voice for these things? And I mean, I know what's gone on in the past with your dad's place that was invaded by 1,000 soldiers back in the 70s, and you know, and all that. I mean, gosh, you both must fear.
Even quite recently, my dad's shrine was raided twice in 2004 and then 2008.
Jeez.
It was locked down. They arrested about 200 customers. They've tear gassed
160.
160.
She's still alive.
Some 15 boys waited for me outside my house with hatchets to try to kill me.
It was way more
about 4 years ago. We were lucky. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's fair, but I think we know what could happen, so we are quite careful.
Yeah.
We can't run away from what we believe in. That's, why we are not saying anything that is a lie. We are not trying to exaggerate an issue. We are not trying to put anybody in the bad light. So if you look at the track, for instance, big manism is the cause of our problem of government. It says it. We're not criticizing because we just want to criticize. We're criticizing because we want good change, and this change will benefit everybody. If we had good health, if we had good transportation, everybody will be happy. There will be nothing to agitate. The agitation will be very less and minimal. And so, but as you know, as your brother has told you, I mean, this has been going on for decades, and there's no sign of any change. So it's not a matter of fear. It's really annoying. We're at a point of really being annoyed at what's going on here.
It's good for that, you know, that you're still there and you're sort of fighting for this. But I hope change will come. I mean, sooner than later, because
not in my lifetime. No, I'm not going to treat myself.
maybe Maddie, it'll be in your lifetime, Maddie. Well, our lifetime, hopefully.
I would believe that if I felt like the generation I was in had access to be more informed. But we have learned from our past generation, and a lot of us, as hard as we are trying to divert away from their path, we are following exactly their own path. In the sense that the average Nigerian's goal now is, you know, we've been taught success is how many cars you have.
Yeah.
Success is how big your house is. Success is if you can own a private jet. And then there are these Instagram influencers that have told all the young girls that if you want to, you should sell your body for money because that's the best way to make money. And you talk about your ethics, it's not about your skill. So we have a generation that has been exposed to, I think, too much. And we have not yet been taught how to handle all that information and all that access to a lot of negativity. So I think if any change does happen, it will be after my generation. I think we might proceed to make crucial steps, but I don't think we'll reach any clear goals.
it is like you've said about, you know, the influencers on Instagram and all about making money. I mean, having money and wealth is the only thing to want. You know, you can go down a street in Lagos and you'll find maybe within a mile, I don't know, 40 churches, and the pastor or the priest or whatever, you know, he'll have a $10,000 suit on, whereas his congregation will all be poor people that give him money. And then you think, it just doesn't. We can't comprehend it, don't understand it. But you know, we have a flash car. He'll have, you know, all the people around him, the nice suits, and he'll shop in London personally, you know, and go to Dubai for holidays. But his congregation is the poor, the extreme poor, and that's
it shows you the effect of colonization and slavery and bad African governments. It's not going to just end in one day. It shows you the mindset of the African today. It shows you what brainwashing has done. It shows you what keeping the mind locked in prison is doing. So religion is one of the main tools for this. And so education, again, like Made pointed out, when education doesn't inform you and propel you or prepare you to deal with your life, what do we expect? So, I mean, there are a lot of people that we complain, but there are a lot of people that will just say, oh, don't worry, Jesus will solve the problem. I mean, what kind of stupidity is that? So many people still believe Jesus Christ is going to come and solve the problems here.
And there was something very funny that happened that shows the mentality of the average Nigerian. Sorry, my dad has a friend, a white friend, and he has this really long hair, the proper depiction of what Jesus Christ looks like. Jesus Christ. And the car broke down on the bridge, a very famous bridge in Lagos called the Mainland Bridge. And my aunt and my mom and that man had a joke that, let's pretend that you are the savior that has just come to Nigeria and let's worship you on the bridge. And the cars were stopping just out of total amazement. What is happening here? So he said, I had a friend that has that same image and was walking in the library and everyone was just, starstruck. And I just thought it's because we've been fed so many lies from so many people at so many angles. In my school, if you didn't sing or pray, you get punished. It's basically most institutions.
It's indoctrination, isn't it? And it's just from an early age, and it's a shame. It's a shame.
You see, the West doesn't even have to do anything. The West knew when they left that there was no way. They knew they were leaving Africa in a mess. Europe and America knew they were leaving Africa in a mess. They just had to sit back. We don't agree on any topic. We just fight. Yeah. We fight on the simplest issue that is so obvious that needs change. And we fight ethnic problems, we fight. Look, we just keep arguing. We argue on so many pointless issues that one just wonders. So this fight will go on for a while. Europe and America just have to sit back and say, well, leave them to it.
And we've been so misinformed that as my dad said, and as we struggle every day, we hail the people that cause these problems that are the most corrupt.
We will still go and vote for the same people that we criticize.
Yeah.
I mean, look, my father was against Obasanjo all his life, and he won 2 elections. Then people come and ask me, what will he, if he were alive, what will he have done or how would he feel? How can you ask me such a stupid question? You know this man fought, and you all know, and you all claim that you love this man or you support this man, but you all troop out again to vote for who he has warned you against. Buhari again is another person that he talked about. They all say they all listen to his songs. What did they do? They voted him again into power. So then they asked Fela's children. They start asking us questions. I mean, it's just a vicious circle that just, like I said, I don't think in my lifetime, but we have to keep on trying to enlighten as many minds as possible and keep on forging ahead.
That's fine. I mean, I actually really enjoying my chat with both of you. It's been very rewarding, and I appreciate it so much. Seriously.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, buddy. Thanks, Femi, and hopefully I get to speak to you again. But yeah, I really
anytime.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks,
bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.